The Chicago Bears wrapped up another padded practice as training camp rolls on, and there is a lot going on in the Bears universe, from fights during practice today all the way to massive free agent signings. There's a lot we gotta cover. Now, I didn't make a video about practice yesterday, but there was no pads and it wasn't super eventful. And the signing of Yannick Ngakoue stole the headlines for a couple days. Also, the Bears signed tight end Mercedes Lewis, who I posted on my community tab. He is going to be a massive boost to the run game. Even though he is 39 years old, he's still one of the best run blocking tight ends in the NFL. One of the best blocking tight ends altogether, because he can also block in the passing game. So he's going to bring a lot of veteran leadership. A lot of people around the Packers said that Mercedes Lewis was one of the coolest, down to earth, one of the just a great locker room presence, like the perfect ultimate professional to be around this young Bears team, as there is a lot of really young guys, as Ryan Poles mentioned, and Mercedes Lewis brings some vet wisdom to the team along with very impressive blocking. The Bears also claimed defensive tackle Bravion Roy off of waivers after he was cut by the Carolina Panthers, so he's going to compete to make the roster as a rotational defensive tackle guy. And obviously Yannick Ngakoue has been the Bears' #1 edge rushing target since the beginning of free agency, and the deal was finally done. He is not practicing with the Bears quite yet. He went back home to get all of his things, and he'll be back either Sunday night or Monday. And the Bears are off on Monday, so he will make his practice debut with the Bears on Tuesday. So that's about it for the new player acquisitions. And I want to get into what's been going on at practice these past 2 days. First, I want to go over injuries. Tremaine Edmonds is not at practice. We're not sure how bad his injury is, but defensive coordinator Alan Williams said he is not too concerned with it, so hopefully he's back and ready well before week 1. Tevin Jenkins was injured in the previous padded practice, but he was back at practice today. He didn't participate in 11-on-11s, but he is back in full pads. Nate Davis has yet to practice since the pads have been on. DeMarcus Walker and Jack Sanborn also both not at practice. Roschon Johnson is back at practice. So real quick, yesterday was without pads, it was just helmets, and Justin Fields was pretty hot in one-on-ones, and 11-on-11s was a nice bounce back day for the offense. Chase Claypool continues to dominate in camp. He continues to prove Ryan Poles right. So far in camp, he has to prove it during the season, of course. But Justin Fields' connection with Chase Claypool is growing every single day. Yesterday, Jaquan Brisker had a point where he blew up the very first play of 11-on-11s with a sack, and then he blew up a run play the very next play. So he was all over the field yesterday, and he did not practice today. Hopefully it's not anything to worry about. I think last year he had some nagging issues with his broken thumb, but did not practice today. No update on that. Javon Dexter continues to look great. He's still getting pressure on the quarterback. And then yesterday during 11-on-11s, there was kind of funky things that were going on. It was pretty funny, but Justin Fields threw the ball to Chase Claypool. It bounced out of his hands, but he kicked it up, so it didn't hit the ground, and Robert Tonyan ended up catching the ball. And then the very next play, Fields threw the ball to Robert Tonyan. The ball bounced off of his hands, and Chase Claypool caught the ball and ran it all the way for a touchdown. So that was pretty funny. Something you couldn't make up even if you tried. Claypool drops the ball, tips it up to Robert Tonyan, then Robert Tonyan drops the ball and tips it to Chase Claypool. So that was pretty funny. And then Justin Fields finished off the day yesterday very strong during the 2-minute drills. Well, he had one 2-minute drill and it was intercepted by Josh Blackwell, but then he got a second go at it and went 5-4-6, connecting with DJ Moore on back-to-back plays, and then the team got a field goal set up by a 3rd down strike to Travis Homer, running back. So the offense finished strong yesterday. And then moving on to today, where there was padded practice, we didn't get too many reports today out of camp. I'm not too sure exactly why that is. However, after one-on-ones happened, which we didn't really get too many updates of the one-on-ones, the very first report that came out of practice was a fight. Justin Fields had threw the ball to Chase Claypool on a drag route, and while he was running towards out of bounds, Eddie Jackson lit him up. It was a clean play. He was in bounds, so it's not like it was a late hit, but Chase Claypool did not like that. He got up, he threw the ball at Eddie Jackson. They started fighting, and at some point Chase Claypool ripped off Eddie Jackson's helmet, and the whole team, it just became a scuffle. And once everybody got broken up and they moved on to plays, they continued chirping. I mean, Eddie Jackson and Chase Claypool continued yelling at each other. They continued to bark throughout the next few plays, and it got to the point where they were still yelling at each other, and Ryan Poles, general manager, literally stepped in between both of them and basically told them to cut it out and to move on. So a lot to unpack there. At some point, Justin Fields, Darnell Mooney, Eddie Jackson, and somebody else, I can't remember who it was, but part of the leadership team, I guess, kind of had a little meeting in the middle of the field at some point during all of the back and forth trash talk. So things are getting chirpy. Things were getting a lot chippy. And one thing to note is that a few days ago on Wednesday, our last padded practice, Chase Claypool had a crack block on TJ Edwards. If you guys remember my previous video of practice, I talked about it, but Chase Claypool really put a big hit on TJ Edwards, started flexing, getting in his face, started yelling, and apparently he was screaming to go to sleep or something along the line. So Chase Claypool has been chirping at the defense. So now the defense, well, Eddie Jackson in particular, puts a big hit on Chase Claypool, and it causes a big scuffle. So the team is definitely extremely energetic, man. They're ready to hit. They're ready to play some opposing teams. I'm not going to dig too deep into who was right or who was wrong today. At the end of the day, it's football. Emotions run high. Fights happen during camp. Every team, every year. It's not nothing new. So hopefully it just stays on the field and it doesn't, leak into the locker room. So today was Roschon Johnson's first padded practice, and he put the hit stick on somebody, straight running them over. It's really nice to hear some positive news from rookie running back Roschon Johnson, since it's been a kind of a rough start for his camp, dealing with an injury, and he had a drop and a fumble before the pads came on. So it's good to hear that he's finally getting his feet under him. And then there's only two more notes that I had from practice. First one being the 2-minute drill where the offense drove down the field. Justin Fields went 4 for 6, looking pretty sharp, and they ended up kicking the field goal on that drive. And then Fields looked pretty amazing on 7-on-7s. He went 9 for 10, only missed one pass. He was quick, decisive. He was getting the ball on target where it needed to be. So Justin Fields definitely had a nice bounce back 2 days after a rough day on Wednesday, and he's back to looking like the potential elite quarterback he was in previous practices where he completely dominated the defense. So that is always great to hear. You really want to hear that your quarterback is looking sharp, especially in camp, especially against a whole rotation of the first, second, and third team defense. You don't want to hear reports that your quarterback isn't looking good. Of course, he's not going to be perfect. He's going to have his down days, which he has had so far, but it's only, 2 down days compared to today was, I think, the 9th practice. So he's had like 7 great days and only 2 down days, and those 2 down days weren't even really all on him. The defensive line has been getting a lot of pressure on him as well. So overall, Justin Fields is looking good. The offense is looking good. He's growing his chemistry with Chase Claypool. DJ Moore is continuing to look like a superstar wide receiver. The only other notes that I have of individual players today and yesterday, so far, Tyler Scott has got a little bit of the case of the drops recently. I'm not sure what's going on. I think he's kind of hitting that rookie shakes. He's kind of getting into his head, but he had a drop yesterday. He had 2 drops today. One of them was really easy catch that he just flat out dropped, and then he muffed a punt today during special teams. So I'm not going to get too worried about it. Again, he's just a rookie, and he's only the 4th wide receiver, so there's no pressure for him to be a star immediately out the gate. He has time to develop and fix his issues, but so far I just think he's in in his head. I mean, sometimes when you drop a pass and you have all these thoughts running through your head and you want to be perfect because you know that people are watching you, you know you're on film. So once you get in that loop of being caught in your head, then the mistakes start to pile on. So I think that's what's going on with him. So hopefully he can gain his confidence back and cut the drops out before the season starts. And then the last thing is that after the Bears first team did the 2-minute drill and they kicked the field goal was kicked by UDFA rookie kicker Andre Smith out of Syracuse. So just a small note there, like I mentioned in one of my preview videos before camp even started, that Smith would have a potential shot to win the kicking job. I mean, I don't think it's Santos's job to lose. He is the starting kicker. I don't think they're just gonna straight kick him out of the league. He's been pretty consistent with field goals. It's just extra points he really struggled on last season. But it is worth mentioning that the Bears do have another kicker, and I think it is in some form a competition, because if Santos starts piling on misses and Andre Smith starts hitting everything, then well, you know, who knows, he might end up being our starting kicker. So, you know, it's been a while since we really had a kicking competition. Flashbacks to the previous regime. I don't want to get into that, but just got to note that. Other than that, overall, I'm so happy with the team. I can't wait to see how Yannick fits in with the defense. After Wednesday, the defensive energy was so great in the offense. Justin Fields, Darnell Mooney, and everybody said that the offense had no energy. They turned that around. These past 2 days, the offense has had energy. They're finally matching the defense's energy. The team is hype. They're getting lit. They're chirping. They're yelling. They're passionate, man. They're really showing their passion. They all love football. Everybody wants to win, and you just see it with this team. So these practices are getting a little redundant for fans. I mean, you know, a play is a play. Over my past few videos, I've been going over in depth of each play-by-play breakdown a lot more, but I think even the reporters are getting bored because today I only had a couple plays that I know happened, so I couldn't even tell you guys all what happened if I wanted to. But it has been a slow 2 days of practice. They're installing more plays, they're doing more walkthroughs, they're kind of taking a step back and slowing down. So maybe they'll ramp up tomorrow during FanFest. I'm not too sure, but hey, it's a good time to be a Bears fan because the Bears are on the come up. The players feel it. Everybody in that building feels it. It's going to be an exciting season. I can't wait till the games start. So feel free to drop a subscribe, drop a like, drop a comment, drop whatever you want to drop. Drop it like it's hot if you want to, man. And stay updated for my next video. I'll try to be dropping one tomorrow, but in the meantime, go ahead and catch up on all my previous videos, and I'll see you guys there.